Christy here with Nourish Wellness Center and of course Dr. Dave with Aptos Chiropractic. We're going to continue our series on leaky gut syndrome, and today we want to go over how do you heal leaky gut and how do you recognize if you really do have it. So I'll hand it over to you.
Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is what are some signs that you might have leaky gut. I think one of the biggest ones for me is people with a lot of allergies, bloating, gas, digestive issues, stuff like that. Something's wrong. I mean, that's not natural, and you see it more and more these days. People with digestive issues, diarrhea. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can go into, but we'll just kind of keep it simple. Any type of like skin disorder, hair issues, nail issues, stuff like that. There's something going on. Your body is not absorbing or processing food the way it's supposed to. But just to keep it simple, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of symptoms. We'll have a list we'll put on the video, but just keep in mind, if you're having issues, that's not normal. Like, those type of things are not something that you're supposed to live with. You're not supposed to find a pill for it. You're supposed to figure out what's causing it. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, very good. So some of the physical signs that you know something's not quite right could be dark circles under the eyes, brittle nails, white spots on the nails, a film on the tongue, vertical lines along the top of the lip, cracked skin along the corners of the mouth, probably a dip in the spine is probably something on the upper spine you can look for, which can tell us there's some hypoglycemic issues. So again, we could go on and on about how to know if you have it, but basically if you have anything chronic, then you can probably guarantee that there's leaky gut happening. So how do we heal that? So I like to use Dr. Axe's 4 R's, and that is to remove, replace, repair, and rebalance. So let's start with remove. But what we mean by remove is removing the food or the environmental problems that could be aiding in the leaky gut syndrome. So we want to find out what are the culprit foods. So we really look at your diet. Some of the big ones that I can tell you right now, right away, is sugar. Grains can be a big one that we start to remove. A lot of non-organic foods, anything in a box, bag, or can, and GMO'd foods, which I won't get into right now, but those are the big culprits. But we also look at environmental factors. Household cleaners are so toxic for your body. Pesticides, can you think of any other environmental factors? Mold could be a big one. So we just look at the whole picture, your lifestyle and everything. We also want to remove just any stress. We try to figure out what is the cause of stress in your life, and we want to remove that. Learn how to say no to your schedule and making it more simple and making sure that your evenings are free and you're not scurrying from one place to the other. That's huge for healing leaky gut. Wouldn't you agree? People are over busy now.
Yeah, I don't think people realize the effect that stress has on their lives. I see it all the time, you know, when they're going through a situation. Yes. There's all kinds of things that happen to the body.
Yeah. Well, and something interesting about stress, when your body is under stress, one of the first things to slow down and almost shut down is digestion, because your body wants to give energy to the vital organs. And so it's even more important to support your enzymes, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. So number 2, after we remove all of the stress, all of the bad foods, all of the environmentals, well, as much as we can remove all of them. Number 2, we want to replace with enzyme-rich foods and continue to lessen the enzyme-poor foods. So I'm an enzyme therapist, so this is kind of my passion. So can you just briefly explain what an enzyme is?
Okay, so enzymes are very specific. There are all sorts of tasks that are happening throughout the body, whether it's breaking down proteins, whether it's moving sugars from one place to another, but they're always very specific. So a protease will not going to break down a carbohydrate, you know, all these different things. And then our foods are supposed to have a minimum, but a lot of things we do is we homogenize, we heat it, we put chemicals in it, we do all kinds of things to it, and we break down the enzymes. So the things that are there to basically help the food digest aren't there. And the best example I could give to you is what an enzyme does is if water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, if you could just take water and only put 10 degrees to it and make it boil, basically that's what an enzyme does in the body as far as breaking down food. It makes it so much easier for the body to break down the food, so it's not using near as much energy.
Great. Yeah, so enzymes basically do 2 things. They're involved in every biochemical process in the entire body, and Dave could go on and on and on,
Oh.
because he's so smart, on what enzymes do. But if you can remember these two things. Number one, they help you digest and absorb your foods. And number two, they nourish the immune. So it's really important that you understand the purpose of enzyme-rich foods. And so your foods that are fresh are going to still have some enzymes in there. Yet now, yes, they even remove enzymes out of our produce because they want to extend the shelf life. So even the produce that we're buying today isn't completely the way God made the produce. So it's really important that we, number three, repair the body with certain supplements that will allow the leaky gut to go away, and enzymes being one of them. And so that is a really important thing that you would want to take every meal. We also could support by just a food-based multi, but then number four, we also want to rebalance your gut with good probiotics. So that is the good bacteria, bad bacteria. We want to make sure that good bacteria is really thriving in your gut. The one thing that I didn't mention is I also like to address parasites, because I do think that is a growing epidemic, and that is something that I usually like to put my clients on a very short parasite cleanse and just make sure that is not a culprit aiding in leaky gut syndrome. So there you have it, the 4 R's. You learned what enzymes are. So now get in here and see us so we can help you start feeling better.
Have a good day.